this, we will stop recording. We have the breakout rooms enabled. We'll work in this main room in general, and then as we run into problems where you need help, if we run into problems where you need help, we'll arrange for one of the TAs or the mentors to kind of move with you into the breakout room and try to resolve the problem. And I have it set up so you should be able to move freely among all of the rooms, including this main room. And we will try this and see if this works at all. Fortunately, we only have to do this for one more meeting before we should be meeting. Fingers crossed, and COVID goes down in person and making all of this work a lot more easily and more personally with our interpersonal outreach and everything. Okay, but for now, we're going to try these breakout rooms. Let's talk about what we're going to do today. Actually, no. Let's not talk about what we're going to do today. Let's talk about something else first. The first thing that I want to talk about a little bit, and I don't think we have, a lot of you probably have some really good ideas about this, but I don't think we have all of the background material yet to analyze this completely. But I do want you guys, as we're learning this, you would be surprised at how many things come up every semester that kind of deal with these types of topics. So if you go to the link in the Discord channel, and if anybody is not in the Discord channel, I saw some messages flying back and forth, but I think we may have everybody now. If not, that's something we want to work out as well. That's one of the first steps of the lab, so we'll get you on the Discord channel. But if you go to our Discord channel, you'll find out that I posted a link to this posting. I wasn't the originator of the post. It came in Arcos, but it's really an interesting study. And we want to think about this I want you guys to read this article. I want you to start thinking about it in these first couple of sections, including what including the reading material for this week, including when we start talking about licensing, when we talk about community and building community. These are things that you want to keep in mind when reading this article. Basically, what happened is there's a primary developer on two open source libraries, Colors and Faker. They must be JavaScript libraries, I guess, because they're installed by NPM. But they've been modeled by or developed by somebody over a period of many years, and they are widely used. The person who's been maintaining them has decided that he deserves to be paid. You should check the license for the libraries to see whether he deserves to be paid and whether it's required to be paid. That's one thing to start looking at. But he released these libraries under a specific set of assumptions, specific library. And then when people didn't respond in the way that he wanted, he went in and essentially sabotaged the libraries. Now, of course, there are all sorts of things to keep in mind here. One, it's open source. So anybody with a previous version or anybody who had downloaded the code who has a clone of the repository has the ability to view the entire history of the repository and or take off at any point. You want to keep in mind the idea of forks. If you've read the material we had, OpenBSD or the BSD side of Open Unix, that was forked multiple times when people didn't get along, when people had different expectations. And I found this, in this really short, a couple of page article, very easy read. There are all sorts of different open source issues and relationships that kind of fall out. So basically, the complaint is that he's been maintaining this as kind of a thankless job, and he believes that he should get recompense. We can debate whether we believe that or not. He released the code under a certain set of libraries, and people believe they've been using the code under licenses. The people believe they've been using the code under the licenses and have met all of the requirements that he actually set out and actually required. But maybe they didn't give back as much as they possibly could. What happens to a community when the primary developer, or what happens to trust in the primary developer when the primary developer sabotages his own libraries. There's all sorts of issues here that apply to the material you've just read and the material you're going to read over the next couple of weeks. Probably not so much with the GitHub stuff, except for forking and rolling back and pulling out commits that you don't like. So anyway, I think that this is a good read. Please read through this. We may use this as a basis for discussion. Heck, it might even be on your test, asking you some interesting, what I feel are interesting questions about this. The more I've read this a couple of times now, and every time I read it, there's another aspect that pops out at me. It's just fascinating. Most of the difficulty of open source is not the technical stuff. Most of the difficulty of open source is maintaining these communities and bringing people into the community and maintaining trust in the community. And if you want your source, your code to be used, you have to have some type of relationship with your users where they trust you, as well as you get something that you feel is useful out of it, whether it's just an ego rush or money or worldwide fame or the ability to trash something and affect thousands or hundreds of thousands of people all in one day. So there are a lot of different aspects of this. Read it, think about it, and I may incorporate it into into the paper we have you write. So anyway, do this. It's good. We will have a lot of these during the year as we get a little bit more into the semester. We'll even talk about this in open classes when we're bored of the actual work, which is a good thing. We should be discussing concepts. We should be discussing how these things actually work in practice. All right, so that's the first thing I wanted to talk about. Second thing I wanted to talk about is here's the lab. Okay, the lab is you go to our web page. Don't bother going there just yet. I'll show you a shortcut. But you go to our web page, or you download our web page, and you go into the code, right? And this lab is the first lab, so it's under modules, and it's under 01 introduction, and it's right here. And if you click on that, it's written in Markdown. GitHub has a nice Markdown renderer, so you should be able to read it. You will have to learn a little bit of Markdown to do your stuff. And it'll have you set up a GitHub account if you don't have one. It'll have you clone a template repository, and I want to talk about that in a second. It has a link to our Discord. Everybody should be on the Discord. If you don't, we'll fix that in this lab. Contact one of the TAs or mentors. We can get you in, I hope. If they can't, I can. We'll get that all set up. There's a little bit more reading here. This is really short stuff. Free culture is in here primarily because of its links back to RPI. So please read that and think about that. And this is about regex, essentially. All very important stuff. Most of what we're going to do today, or over the course of the semester, is going to require some kind of Linux install. Now, from an open source perspective, we want you to know Linux. We want you to have Linux. From a practical concept of actually doing the labs, you can't do a lot of these things under Windows raw. So you do need to go through, and you do need to get this stuff set up. Column already posted a link to getting WSL installed. I don't post the instructions here because they change too often. So when you get to that point, there's somebody saying they still haven't been able to join the Discord and never received another link. We will set you up. In fact, what I'll probably do, we'll figure this one out. The link should have let you in. Anyway, we will do this. We'll get you all set up. You need to have some version of Linux going. For Windows, I'm going to recommend WSL2. I am running on the box I am talking to you on. Like I said in last class, I have a Linux box. I have a a Windows box, I have an OS X box. They're all available to me. Because most of you are running Windows, I am trying to run Windows. This will be my second semester doing the Windows thing. If you have Mac OS, OS X, open source, that's actually derived from, I believe, the BSD branch. So no, you don't need Linux installed. You should be able to do almost everything from there. You should be able to do everything from there. There may be some slight tweaks if things have changed slightly, and we will work with you to kind of work those out as we go through the semester. OS X is a closed version of the open version BSD. And when we talk about licensing, you'll see how that can happen. From a practical standpoint, you'll get most of the experience of using Linux, so you'll be able to do most everything, particularly if you choose a BSD flavor instead of a Linux flavor. But no, and in fact, it's probably harder for you to install than not. If you're going to do Mac OS X, I would recommend trying to use Docker as the way through. Unfortunately, we don't learn Ubuntu, learn Docker until later in the semester, but we can help out if you do need it. I ran most of these through my box, my OS X box, and I haven't had any problems. In fact, the first cut through each lab is done on that box just because it's light and always available. And then the final thing is this kind of, there's regex is a game. Once you learn a little bit of regex, there's some regex crossword puzzles, and then playing with Snap or Blockly. Actually, I should have changed this reflection. Now it'll be more interesting to talk about this last article once we've talked about licensing. So I think we're going to wait until that point. All right. Any questions about this so far? Okay, I'm going to take the deafening silence as a wow, I can't believe you're taking all this time to go over this really easy stuff, which is good. Good. So this, let's go back up to create and set up a GitHub account. I'll get to that in just a second, Jeffrey, when we talk about but very good question. Template repository. When you fork the template repository, it should, when you click there, this should bring you to Arcos OSS template, Arcos OSS repo template. You should fork this. You'll see that we have 88 forks already. This is not the first semester we forked this. Once you have, what you're going to find out is we have this labs directory with lab 01, and you click down into there, and there's your first lab report, and it looks something like this with absolutely nothing in it so far. Put all of your lab material into here, right? Or into, if you're doing pictures that need to be captured, you can put them in this directory. You can do this right from the command line. We'll get into using Git a little bit more productively next class. But for now, I think you know enough. There's enough in what we're doing to kind of handle this. We can certainly help you out if there are any issues. I think the lab one has enough instructions. You don't have to do a lot. You have to come in here, click on report, and edit it. Right? Or pull it down onto your machine with a clone and edit it. And again, you won't be editing the Arcos one. You'll be editing your own fork. At the upper level, we ask you to put in a file that talks about yourself. That's this index.md, right? This is your little bio and everything like that. And you can link to your labs down here. You're going to be doing this, not this index part, but you're going to be doing this labs part for every one of your labs. Okay? So you're going to be keeping your labs right here. You got to remember to push them so that you actually have them out on the repo if you're doing them locally. There's also editing capabilities right in GitHub. Okay? So that's kind of how we want you to submit, or what we want you to submit. So now we're going to get back to how, when, and why we're going to submit, or where we're going to submit it. So if you come out to Submittee, right? My screen is a lot more cluttered than yours, but you should hopefully have open source software, spring 2022, and you should have exactly one gradable Lab 01. If you're familiar with Submiti and you want to get to our website, you can always do it using Course Home. Course Home should point to the open source website, right? And then you can come down and dig through modules, etc. All right, so that's a real shortcut. If you know how to get to Submiti, you can always get to our website, our GitHub repository, just by using the course homepage. All right, there's one gradable here. The way we're going to submit it is I'm going to try something new. It could crash and burn. We could all end up, in piles of dust and ash on the side of the road next to a burned out building or something. I don't think that'll happen. Submiti has never done that before. Left us a pile of ash by the side of the road, but you never know. Anyway, you can submit by clicking here. You can see that it's due on 1/17/2022, which should be Monday, right, at midnight. So I want you to have this completed by Monday at midnight. In general, I think you should be able to, unless you go above and beyond in the regex and the Blockly, you should be able to have this done fairly quickly, unless unless of course we get into something like problems with Linux or things or Discord. You click here to submit. You're not going to submit a file. Instead, what you're going to do is you're going to give us your GitHub username and then the name of the repository. Unless you change the name after you fork, it should be OSS repo template. And then you hit grade my repository, and that will do a time tag capture, right, including the commit hash of the time when you wanted to submit. So be careful. If you submit on Tuesday after the due date, this is going to change and it's going to actually mark you late. So you need to make sure that you submit and we capture it on time. You can't do that and then go in and change stuff afterward. Is what I'm saying. What we do is we actually do a checkout of this specific Git hash, and that's what gets entered into your assignment. All right, and we can then browse your repository. Make sure your repository remains public. It'll start out public. Don't make it a private repository. That will kill this whole process, and you can't get credit. Labs will generally be due the following Monday. That's kind of the plan, the way we have it worked out. Yeah, so to check that Submiti grabbed it successfully, you can see that this is the commit hash. And let's see, we can come in here, and that was not what I wanted to do because I was in the wrong window. We can come in here, and actually we have to go to my repository. So there is a question about how many submissions you get for this class. I'm not capping it. We're not actually doing any automated testing. So what that means is, there we go. So you can see that this is the commit hash, and that's the same as the commit hash that I copied from Submiti. So as long as this is the same, then you can check that it got it. You can also, by the way, just I thought you could download these, but apparently you can't. But this is the commit hash. That should be the same as your commit hash on GitHub. And then I'm not requiring you to have any specific numbers. There's no auto grading. It shouldn't take us any time to run. So this should be just a capture of the repository. So I'm not capping how many submissions you have. Right. So if you submit, okay, let me take these from the top. For picking an open source project to discuss, where should we look for a project? There's a link down there that has a whole bunch of open source projects. I would send you to the Arcos website, but right now the project's website on that is broken. So that's not as easy to get to and look at. But there are a bunch of links out there. You can go, this is not anything that you're going to be required to work on. It's just getting you looking at some of the projects and seeing what's out there. You can go and look for colors or Faker from the article. Just Google colors or Faker. You can get right to the GitHub repository. So that's it should be fairly, that is a very low bar of rigor. I just want you guys to start thinking about it and kind of looking through some stuff. You're not going to be required to work on that project or even touch that project ever. Just start looking at some stuff. Lab due I got when this is submitted. Typically that's the way we'll do it, is Monday. Yeah, and so Nathan, yeah, so if you submit and then make changes, it will grab from the hash at the time you submit it. So if you want it to grab the next hash, you have to do a submit again. Okay, so that you do need to do that just for time check. The files we'll have available for us to look at will be from that hash. Now we can always go to your repository and look beyond that, but that's more work for us and we're lazy. All right. GitHub will also show timing information. Absolutely. You can see that this commit was submitted at 10:44. You can't see the pop-up. If you hover over the May 24th there, like I'm doing, it was submitted at May 24th, 2019 at 10:44. So I submitted this long ago, but it isn't really all that useful. There's not actually any data in it. All right. Any more questions? This should get easier going out. I don't have to do this again. We will set up. When you go into to Lab 2, all you're going to do is you're going to create a Lab 2 directory under Labs, right? Lab-02, and set up your report.md file and work on the report. Put any other files, images, etc., down in this repository as well. And you should be fine. All right. Any other questions? If not, I'm sorry for taking up 30 minutes of your time. I didn't want to take that long, but I did want to make sure that we walked through this once so you guys had an idea of what actually was going on. All right. All right. So with that in mind, here's your let's get back to our lab for today, and you guys can get started. Lab 1 instructions, if you go to the repository, the open source repository, modules, 01 introduction, lab introduction. And by the way, this is also, if you clone the library, you have it as well. I guess I can also throw this, particularly for those of you who, okay, does that work for you, Joseph? Jonathan, sorry. All right. If you do need it, I can post it up into the course materials on Submiti. But GitHub does such a nice job of formatting things, and I kind of feel giving you the raw MD files are not as useful. And by the way, here's an index for a number of open source projects. So if you want to kind of look at any of these are good things to look at. It doesn't have the Arcos ones. I'll have to figure out a way to get to download at least some of the Arcos ones before we get to actually picking projects. Actually, why don't you guys, you can try going to, and I'm not sure that this is going to work. It's a little touchy because we switched how we're switching our web software on Arcos, and not everything is. Does it work? Yeah. .io. I'm brain dead today. This should be working, by the way. I think that there's a clash. I'm trying it with a private repository. Keeps wanting to forward me back to the real Arcos page, so I'm gonna have to work on this a little bit. In general, this should be this should not be redirecting you. The records should be separate. I had the suffix wrong. This should be separate. It works sometimes. I've got to figure it out at some point, but we're trying to retire that one, and because of that, it's low priority. It's just for things like this or when I have to get data for recommendations. Anyway, let's soldier on. And again, we'll keep this open. If you have we have the breakout sessions open. You should be able to see that at the top of the participants thing. If you have issues, we will we'll take you off into there. We'll try to keep at least one person in here at all times, just to keep answering questions. Who was it that had a problem with Discord? Is everybody else in Discord? If people are having problems with Discord, why don't you follow me into or join Professor Turner, and we'll try to get those worked out. I'm going to wait till I see somebody join the Professor Turner WebEx room before I actually go there. But if you have, okay, so we have Jonathan. Anybody else? All right. this may crash and burn. I don't know what's going to happen to my feed once I try this, but we are going to try this, and we will see what happens there.
Hello, Professor Turner.
Hi, Jonathan. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Well, other than you, I'm doing okay.
Yeah, so I tried joining the Discord, and then it had said like I wasn't able to link it for some reason. And then I didn't try it again. I was wondering if you could just pass me the link again, and then I could try again.
Yep. Come on. I think when you link, you have to do it with your CAS ID, your RPI.
Oh, is that what it?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I have like my own like Discord, but it's not linked with RPI at all. Is there a way that I have to like link it with the RPI?
No.
Actually,
I don't know. Why don't you do a screen share and let's see what it's giving you?
Actually, I think it might be working this time.
Good.
Oh, it's telling me to. Oh, 1 second. Yeah, I'm in.
Awesome. Software sucks, and hardware's worse.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Perfect.
Yep. All right. That's why we always start from the beginning when we do it, just in case. Cool. All right. So,
thank you.
You're welcome. And we can. I think
Appreciate
we can
it.
both just go back to the main session. You're welcome.
Wait,
and let's
Professor.
get you through. Sorry.
Professor, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Oh, hey, Eugene. Hi.
Hey, all right. I just want to say I don't have an issue with Discord. I have an issue with submitting. I'm not in the submitting, but you can manually add me somehow.
I can manually add you. Let's work on you next, though. Let's get you in the class.
Okay.
I'll still manually add you, but let's get you in the class. All right. So.
I have like super spotty Wi-Fi, so I've been like dropping in and out because I'm in a hotel room right now.
In a hotel room. Man, you guys get to do everything. I don't.
Yeah, I'm in Miami.
You're in Miami in a hotel room.
Yeah.
You should be in Miami next to the pool. What?
All right. There's no pool here, unfortunately, not this hotel room.
Oh, okay. Good. Suffer.
We didn't pick
All right. Let me bring up a sys window.
I know I can send you a form. I've done this with the other class.
Yeah, that's not the way they do it anymore. That's what the problem is. Come on. Yeah, they no longer use the form, Eugene. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. It's more work for us and less work for them.
Yeah, I think I'm back. Okay.
Okay, let me look at the wait list and see what's going on with that to begin with.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if you can see that on it. Like, I can show you my screen, what I did. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, no, I can see you on it.
Okay. Okay.
And now I've seen you.
Yeah, I was on it.
Yeah, you weren't on it when I checked last time. I don't know what happened.
Oh, maybe it took like a day or two to propagate, I guess. It was weird because I was on it, like, yeah, I remember when we spoke, like, back in the last semester, like December, I joined. But then I guess it booted me off. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Let's 4470. Okay, now I overrode you for everything on that course. Okay?
Okay.
So, prerequisites and prerequisites, closed courses, and restricted courses. Right? So you should be able to log in. Now you may have to drop the wait list first.
The wait list? Okay, I can try that. I just dropped it.
Okay.
I'm looking at it. Well, it still says C for closed. I can't register. I can try to put in the CRN, try to register that way.
Maybe. I mean, the course is closed.
Oh, I got it.
Okay.
I got in.
Awesome.
Yep, I just registered.
All right.
Okay.
So
it'll take like a day or two to get into submitting or something.
Well, I'm going to get you into submitting right now.
Okay.
But yeah, in a day or two, you should be part of the official class list, and you'll be part of the automatic feed. But I'm going to put you in manually right now. But I wanted to get this. This was more important immediately to get you your registration handled. Okay, so just hold on. Don't quite go anyplace. ROZENE.
You mean ZE?
Yep. Okay, now you should be on Submittee too.
All right, yeah, I'm on it.
Okay.
All right, great. I think that's everything. I'm already on the Discord, so.
Yep. Yeah, I've noticed you on the Discord before. All right, sounds good.
All right, thanks.
You're welcome. Hey Nathan, you need something? You're muted.
Yeah. So I'm working through the lab, and I had some questions.
Sure.
So, first of all, camera's not on. Let me get the. First of all, what I'm a bit concerned about is I don't know how much to write on a basic level. So I followed the template for the index and all that stuff. So that's
okay for the bio. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, for the bio. So that I'm assuming you don't need to write that much. The thing I'm more wondering about is how long the lab report is supposed to be. Like, is it going to be like 5 paragraphs? Is it going to be like a page?
So, so a couple of them ask for screenshots, right? So that's going to make that a longer. But you don't really have to have much written for that, right? You just have to demonstrate you're documenting in your lab notebook that you took those steps. In the reflection part, I'd like a couple of decently composed paragraphs. For most of it, You know,
Because that shows that we did the reading assignments.
yes, exactly, and that you're thinking about things, because and I keep coming back to this, but it's for a lot of these communities, the easy part is doing the code. Keeping the community together is actually, you know, sometimes harder. So I want you thinking about this stuff and thinking beyond just the technical. Although there will be substantial amounts of technical that we'll be able to talk about. Let me pull up the lab report. Let me just make sure that there's no gotchas in what I'm telling you.
And after that, I had one more question.
Sure.
Then,
why don't you ask that while I bring this up and take a look at it?
okay. It says here that about the foundations of computer science. I don't believe I took that class, so I had not learned about regular expressions.
Okay.
I did like the first couple of them, but I don't think I'm doing them. Like, obviously, I just don't have the full knowledge for that. So
okay. I don't think you need. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just moved on to the next one and was working on that.
Okay.
But
so regular expressions are ways of specifying grammars, or ways they're ways of specifying expressions. But the thing you would have gotten from them in Fox is they can specify grammars, or they can specify, for example, the input to a Turing machine, and a Turing machine can be used to recognize a regular expression. And you'll get into that. It's really a fun part. But basically, you don't need to know a lot about this to be able to do the exercises. You know, the practice problems should lead you through to the regex crosswords, and they're not that difficult. If you keep going, they get increasingly more difficult. But you should be able to kind of puzzle your way through, you know, at least the 7 problems that we ask you for. Didn't do these ones this semester because every time I do them, I get sucked in, and it's just like doing a crossword puzzle or a Sudoku, and I just keep going, and it wastes a lot of my time. I will do them at some point just for fun. But the concept that we want you to get is that this regex stuff is intimately tied to the foundations of computer science. A lot of the very basic machines can be their behavior can be expressed in terms of generating, you know, reading a token at a time and matching or expanding a regular expression, or you know, a series of state operations. There wasn't really much there that you need to know in the background. It will, you know, but you would have actually worked with them a little bit more if you had taken the course. It's not anything to be concerned about.
Okay, got it. So I'll just kind of work my way through it, look stuff up, and try to figure it out.
And if you have too many problems, come and talk to us, you know, about the problems. I don't think you will. I think you'll be okay.
Okay.
This is they're actually kind of fun.
Yeah.
Okay. They're not meant to be a big hurdle for this class. This is a fun thing. Okay.
Okay. Got it. So just kind of move through all of this. Like, I've already done some of it. I've done the man tree thing.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm assuming we just need the first page of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't worry about.
Don't stress out about it.
Yeah.
Okay. And I said I had a question, and that was the final one. I actually just remembered one more. How do we shrink photos? Because some of the photos are coming up super large. Because they're coming up the size of like the screenshot I made.
Yep.
So how do you shrink them, or should I just leave them as is and it's not a big deal?
It's not a big deal, but let's take a look at that.
Oh no! So is it Snap or Blockly, or do I need to do both?
Or I always do Blockly. It's fun.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm already on level 7 of Maze.
Yeah, don't go beyond what we ask you to do until you've done the rest of it, because you can go down that rabbit hole too.
Yeah.
I
would just. How much of Blockly do I need to do?
We ask like 7 or 8 levels, I think.
Of the maze, or
just
okay.
less than
I'll
8 or something
complete
like
the
that.
maze, and I did the first step, so I think that should be enough then. It doesn't give a specific amount, so I was just wondering.
Yeah. So it looks, I don't know if you can see my thing, but it looks like you can specify a relative width, right? This would be the caption, this would be the image, and then this specifies the width. All right, you can also use height instead. I'm looking to see whether they have a instead of a relative size, absolute size, but I'm not seeing that.
Yeah.
But that, don't stress about it too much. But yeah, I appreciate.
So if
not
I
having
can't do it, it's not a big deal.
No, but try to make it a little small because I don't want to scroll way over, but it's not that big of a deal.
They're not massive. It's just they take up like it's like the size of a typical Ubuntu thing because it's just a direct 1-to-1.
Yeah. Oh, here you go. Here's another one. And by the way, I don't like that one. Yeah, I'll give you this one too. I like the one that I gave you first better, just because it's more pure markdown. But this may also work.
Would that just shrink the width though, not the?
No,
length?
it should. It would. Well, you can specify width and height separately, and then you can make it whatever shape you want. But if you specify one, it auto scales the other one accordingly. It maintains the same aspect ratio.
Okay, nice. So I will do that then.
Yeah, give that a shot. And by the way, a lot of this stuff is going to be underspecified. Part of what we want you guys doing is asking questions and Googling around and things like that and talking. Once we get into an actual lab environment, we can actually have discussions. Which will be better than this. So you're doing fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, well, back to your other question. You had a question. The one that I said, hold on, we'll talk about the other questions while we do this one. Yeah, most of these, join the Discord. It asks for a screenshot, right? And then the reading assignments. So a paragraph, 8 to 10 sentences. That's maybe a quarter of a page, maybe a little bit more. The Linux thing is essentially a screenshot. The regex is a screenshot of the end. It'll tell you how many you get. You just need something that says you got through it. And again, Snapper Blockly, just some screenshots, and then finally the reflection is just half a page is fine. I would prefer more than 2 sentences. Sometimes people try to cop out on me, but just anything that shows that you thought about it and have some thoughts. You look like you have thoughts. I'm confident you have thoughts.
That's a good thing to have, I think.
Yes, good.
All the time. So that's kind of all of my questions.
Okay, cool.
So I will head back, I guess, to the main group and keep working on this.
Awesome.
I don't think I'm going to have this all done in class time, mostly because I have to figure out some of this stuff. But if I have questions, I can just email, I'm assuming.
Or Discord.
Discord. Yep, that's a good idea. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. I mean, you can email too, but Discord will be better. Hi, you're back.
Yeah, no, sorry about that. No, because it cut off while you were saying something.
I just said, email will work as well, but Discord will probably be faster.
Okay.
It wasn't anything earth-shattering.
Yeah, no, but I didn't want to leave mid-sentence. I did.
No,
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
absolutely fine. I just I didn't want to drag you back, but that's cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Talk to you later. Okay, how do I get out of the breakout session? I'm back. So Ariana, you're asking how much do we have to reflect on the readings? We want to know, 8 to 10 sentences is kind of a nominal. We want at least a well thought out paragraph. Now, if you want to do it in a clever limerick that shows a thoughtful understanding, I'm open to art. That would be cool. So I think for most of them, it's just a screenshot. So we're trying to, maybe a screenshot with a caption or something like that will be fine. That's just to document. It's like when you're in physics and you take a snapshot of your oscilloscope, or you plot your readings. We want to see that you did it, and we want to see what your results were. For the things where we're asking you to talk, I need something that actually shows that you thought about it. So be more expressive, and take a few minutes to think. Like I said, if you want to do an ode or a lyrical poem or something, that's fine. Then you're bound by however many lines you have, but just enough to show that you thought about it and have some kind of insight, or have some probing questions. Does that make sense? I think Peter's answer was perfectly fine. I just felt the need to jump in as well, because this is something, don't just give me 2 sentences or a clause. Show some thought. Yeah.
I guess I just had a question, because on like the first reading for like the open source definition, it just didn't. It said that we were supposed to reflect on these, but it didn't really give us like criteria for like what that would mean.
Yeah.
And,
I kind of left. That's probably underspecified. Yeah, if you just gave a few sentences on that would be fine, or a paragraph on that. But we're going to be dealing with the open source definition a lot, so this is your first exposure. We really want you guys just thinking about it more than anything else. But yeah, Peter says I agree with Peter. All right. And if you want, file an issue or fix it and make a pull request, if you have some wording in there you think would be more appropriate. We gratefully accept all free labor. And I won't go on a tirade and corrupt all of your files. Caitlin, if you have the knowledge and you want to better organize your code, folder for images is just fine. What we're going to look for is Lab 01 report or Lab 01, something that looks like a lab report. So make sure that your main lab report document pulls all of those in. But if you want to organize it using additional directories, absolutely fine. In fact, encouraged. It's actually the right way to do things. So that's good. Yeah, that's not useful. Sure, Jeffrey. For me or one of the TAs, or doesn't matter?
Anyone will be fine.
Okay. Jeremy, Peter, you want to take this one, or you want me to take it? I'll take it. Head into my breakout.
Okay.
Hey, what's up? Hi, what's up?
Hi. So I had a question about. So I'm like adding the things to my index file, but this is like a problem that I just have with GitHub, and I don't know how to fix it without like messing up everything. So I can share
Sure.
what it says. Um, I hope you can see this terminal.
Yeah,
But
that's
I basically tried to. So I tried to push changes, but then I also added things like on the GitHub from like the browser. So then I realized I had to pull first. So when I pulled, I get this message.
yeah, that's absolutely fine.
Okay, I'm not sure how to exit out of here.
Ah, you're using Nano. Why would you use Nano? Because that's in the
Um,
instructions, huh?
actually, I don't know why I'm using it, but like this happens to me. I think sometimes I feel like I usually just press like random buttons until it leaves, but
Okay,
it's not
so
really working for me.
do a
Yeah.
control O,
Okay.
and now do control X.
I just did that and nothing's happening.
Nothing's happening. Ah, I don't know Nano all that well. Hold on a second.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a way to do it without Nano, because usually I could,
Yeah.
if this was like in Vim, I would know how to do it, but this is like weird and I don't know how to
Okay,
get out of
do
this.
control C.
Okay. Oh, do I do Control X? Oh,
Yes, and then save and Y. Control X and then Y.
okay. Okay. Okay, when I do Y, it brings me back to the. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I guess that worked.
Okay. Now
Okay.
let's fix your what editor do you like to use?
I use Vim.
Okay, so just type in Vim just to make sure it's installed and is working.
Okay.
Okay, just do the Q.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not any fun using a editor that you are not used to.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I can stop sharing this. Oh yeah, a quick question I had is I've called my repo on GitHub. It's like my GitHub handle, and then I use OSS-repo-template. Should we call it that, or should we get rid of template and just call it OSS repo?
It's immaterial. It's up to you.
Okay.
It's not gonna impact anything that we do.
Okay.
Okay. Try typing this into your.
Okay, I'll do that.
Try typing this into your window.
Okay. I think that worked.
Okay. If
And
it
then,
doesn't work,
next time.
go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I was gonna say next time that comes up, I think it should work, and if it doesn't, I can just go back and fix it. But thanks for sending that.
Yeah, there is nothing more painful than getting the wrong editor.
Yeah.
So, good. That should work. Nice to see you again, Jeffrey, by the way. I thought that was you.
Oh yeah, it's me. I know it's been a while because of everything that's been like happening in the world, but
Yep.
yeah, nice to see you again.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think also I don't know. I know these are like unofficial, but since you're like faculty, maybe you have like more insight than like students do. But do you know if there's a possibility, like even though it's not ideal, that they push it back to the 31st of in person? Because I heard that was like a rumor, but obviously it's just a rumor.
It's I'm not going to say it's not a possibility.
Mhm.
I don't have any special insight, and generally I find that I learned from Reddit before I learned from the official sources. So, yeah, I have no special insight. I would both not be surprised and be surprised. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hopeful that it won't be. I don't know what your feelings are, but I would I would much rather be talking to you guys in person. So it just makes it more fun for me. But we'll see what happens. All right.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, I guess I'll see you back in the main room.
Back in the real world.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is just like this, whether the date is like one day or another day. I feel like I wish there was just certainty rather than uncertainty.
That is absolutely the case. That's the same thing that I feel. It's like just changing things too often, or leaving or not confirming things, or not just letting things slide is the worst of all worlds. So
Yeah, like you just missed like one email and it turns out, oh, everything has changed and
Yep.
everything you thought you knew is like no longer the case.
I'll tell you what, I couldn't even read the email you guys got. That was long and complicated, and it's like, man, you need the degree you need the undergraduate degree just to read the letter and figure out where you stand.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, I think that was all the questions I had for now. So thanks for helping me figure that out.
Oh, you're welcome.
Should I just leave the session?
Yeah, I think that's the right way to do it.
Okay.
I can't see you. Yeah. Every time I leave, Nishant seems to get front and center. So hopefully he's not annoyed by that. We had a question about setting your editor. If when you, and this may be something that happens. Why is this doing that to me? There you go. This may be something that you don't see now. We can always revisit this later, particularly next week when we talk more about Git. But if you're having problems, thanks, Nishant. If you're having problems with an editor coming up that you're not familiar with, there are other ways to specify your editor, or to specify the editor that Git uses whenever it has to ask you editor questions. And you can go. That's if you want to set Vim. If you want, if you want a list of available options, that link will take you to available options. If you can get by for now, we can handle this, more directly during next week's module, next week's class. But if it's bringing you to an editor, if you end up in an editor that you absolutely hate, there are ways around it.
Maze was rude.
What?
The Blockley game's Maze.
That was fun.
The tip that it gave you right at the start was useless.
Yes. Absolutely.
That's such a red herring and mean. Okay, well now everyone knows. So everyone don't follow the left wall.
Hopefully we'll have more discussions when we get into actually doing this in person. But yes, it's not all that useful of a hint. Just kept insulting me, which motivated me even more. I get down the rabbit hole on those. I just keep following them. I think I've completed all of the Blockley exercises a dozen times. Up beyond what we're asking you guys to look at, and the same with the Redjacks. I don't know that I've solved all of them, but they are a lot of the complicated ones can be a lot of fun if you don't want to do schoolwork at some point. Don't go down the rabbit hole until you finish the lab.
Well, here's a rabbit hole for you. Write a regular expression to validate HTML.
Nope.
Here's a hint. It's not possible because it's not a regular language.
There you go. So I think Peter answered that above, and I don't want to step on what he wrote. But if you go up, he says about 1248, he says a few sentences per bullet point should suffice, except for where we ask you to read chapter 3 of Free Culture, which says 8 to 10 sentences. So we would like a well thought out paragraph for that one. The other ones, a few sentences per bullet point would be great. And then I think we also had a reflection at the very end. That should be a well-formed paragraph. See, Peter's fast. Oh, no issues. We are here to amuse you. No, we're here to answer your questions. That's what this is all about.
The question, is there only one solution for the Blockley game?
I don't know. I didn't probe it for uniqueness. I do know there is at least one solution.
I know there is at least one solution as well.
Yeah, I didn't probe it for uniqueness. In general, I would suspect that there are multiple, because you could always throw no ops in, right, to essentially do nothing. So I would expect there are more than one solution. Was there a certain number of steps you had to use, though? A certain number of stages?
4, and then we have 5, 6, 7. Okay. There's only 10 million combinations.
Okay.
So I could write a program to find all of them.
Yeah, I expect, so Alexis says there's a maximum of 10 blocks. 10,
Yeah.
So the combinatorics aren't superiorly horrible, but or there's 10 blocks that you can put on the stage. Which is it, 10 blocks total? I haven't done that one recently. Yeah, okay. Yep.
Boss. Wonder what the shortest one is. Take a screenshot of man tree. Is that what it says?
I think that's what it says. Yeah. Although we would also take the output from the tree.
Do I have to install Ubuntu?
I'm sorry?
Do I have to install Ubuntu? Or can I use Arch Linux?
No, Arch Linux is fine.
Okay.
This assumes you're coming in without a Linux box. If you have Linux, that should absolutely be fine. And I think Arch Arch should be largely compatible with everything we say here.
It doesn't have apt. It does have this R superior Pacman though.
Yeah, I was going to say there's an alternate package manager. So.
So for the regular expressions,
Yeah.
we just have to match all of the matching ones and skip the skipping ones to get credit.
I'm not sure I understand.
So it says you have to match like 5 cases and skip the 1 case. For problem 1, it's just matching decimal numbers. So I'm matching.
Oh, yeah.
And I can use any regular expression that does that.
I don't know that it's that any regular expression that the page will take.
Okay. And any regular expression, right?
I think so. I mean,
As long as the page takes it.
yeah, if the page, we're just going to go by what's marked there, yeah.
And I can hold you to that.
That's why I'm hedging. It has to be in the spirit of the game. That's what I was wondering. Nishan hit it on the head.
So I can't just
hard code an or with the statements they have there.
That's not what I said. I just said I can do whatever I want. What? That's not matching the whole thing, and it's already telling me I got it correct. Well, I'm not hard coding it, so I'm going to take it.
Yeah, I think the hard part on those is the grep will pull out. You don't have to completely match the entire thing unless they have a dollar or a caret, a dollar and a caret. But you do have to discriminate to remove the ones that are bad.
Good exam. Okay.
It's something you should expect to be asked. Whether I'll do it or not is up in the air.
How do I take a screenshot and add it to my lab report?
should be a screen capture, although I'm not sure. I haven't done it on Arch Linux.
Well, yeah, but like, is there a page that shows me every problem that I've solved?
For the regex, I thought there was, at least for the first part. If you log in, I'm fairly certain you can save those, but Okay, we're down to about the last 5 minutes of lab. So if you have any questions, let's get those asked. And if you're done, or we get to 150. So this is due Monday. Yeah, it'll be. I think it's set Monday at midnight. It's 17th at midnight, I believe. That was the intent. And the policy is you're 1 day late, it's 10%, and up to a week late is 20%. But don't go late on this. There's not, you know, turn it in on time. All right, guys, I'm gonna shut down the room. Please feel free to keep working on it. Post any questions to Discord, and we will try to answer them. And have a nice day, even if it's cloudy and wet. Right? Thanks, guys.